a giant who did us all the favor of immortalizing our place in the world and the curse of it, and who, from his ability to find the purest truth of a thing, explained to us, we hopeful writers, that the problems of the human heart, in conflict with itself, even his heart, only that is worth writing about. Thankfully, we still have plenty of those problems. To William Faulkner.
For William Faulkner on his 127th, thank you for creating complicated novels. Thank you for reminding us that we should love our landscape and our sense of place. Thank you for creating characters whom we love and despise. Thank you for reminding us that indeed the past is still with us. William Faulkner.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you, Kate.
Growing up on a farm out on Old Highway 78 in the 50s and 60s, it never occurred to me that I might one day be called to toast William Faulkner. In my early teens, I had scant knowledge of William Faulkner, and as I got older and I began to read William Faulkner, I developed my own sort of ambivalent relationship with William Faulkner that so many people have. I know that some authors I read, I get to the end of a sentence, and I just think to myself, how did he think of that? How did she think of that? It's so clever, and that turn of phrase is so striking. I get to the end of a William Faulkner sentence, and if I've remembered how it started, and it went on, I'm kind of proud of myself that I don't have to go back and reread it, because he is after all, they say in the Guinness Book of World Records for writing the longest sentence in world literature. But he is truly a towering figure of literature, and we are fortunate that we live in a town that he grew up just a few hundred feet from here. And I also have to credit William Faulkner. Not only were we both born in New Albany, we both worked in Hollywood. I will say that I lasted longer than William Faulkner. But I remember one particular job that I interviewed for. I was interviewing with the executive producer and for a position on the program, and he was an English major graduate from the University of Michigan, and he was known for being rather gruff and short-tempered, and he said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Well, I'm from New Albany, Mississippi." And he went, "Huh, what's so special about that?" I said, "Well, it's the birthplace of William Faulkner." And he just kind of nodded. And later, when I found out that I got the job, it wasn't until I said that I was from the birthplace of William Faulkner that he decided to hire me. So, Mr. Faulkner, for that, I'm grateful. And to the towering figure of literature that you are, and to our guest of honor in absentia, we toast you.
Well, I thought for a moment I would channel Estelle for you. To dear William, the man who knew the depths of every single character he wrote about. You carried the weight of the world in your stories, and yet, in the quiet moments, you shared with me your humor, your heart, and your love for our family, Jill and myself. We weathered storms for sure together, and through it all, I saw not just a celebrated writer, but the man I loved. A man full of complexities and contradictions and tenderness. Cheers to you, Bill, for the legacy you leave behind and for the life we built together, however wild and imperfect. To William.
Cheers.
In 2016, a small group of us started on an odyssey. And that was to preserve and to promote the legacy of William Faulkner in a documentary. There had been no other documentary on William Faulkner except for a wonderful film by MPB called Life on Paper, and that was in the 70s. And what we didn't understand is, how could there be so much academic scholarship on William Faulkner? How could there be so many societies capturing William Faulkner, but there was no documentaries giving justice to a legend? And in 2024, I'm very excited that we're going to be able to show you that documentary later tonight. We have several people that were in the film that are here today, and I just want to call them out: Susan and Amy, and Hudson was executive producer. And I want to say this: in this journey, and it's been a really long journey, there is no one, there is no writer that is more brilliant and relevant today than William Faulkner. So let's give a toast to William Faulkner. Toast.
Heard Hudson say he was a towering figure. I wonder if he knew he'd be on the water tower. Here's to the old man who, after light in August, was born in the town of New Albany among the mosquitoes in dry September. This intruder in the dust made the hamlet of New Albany his sanctuary. It is not a fable that his powerful contribution to American literature was like the sound and the fury. As we celebrate your 127th birthday, Mr. Bill, may you always have a spotted horse to ride, a good Dunhill pipe to smoke, and 4 Roses bourbon by your side. Cheers to you, Mr. Bill. Cheers. Cheers.
Max, that the past is never past is never dead. It's not even past. Cheers.
Cheers.
I just want to say cheers to Faulkner, and at 11 years old, my great uncle Murray Coffey for donating these Faulkner books, in the memory of our family, for being privileged to be able to work on this film with some amazing and wonderful people. For Jill in the museum, this is just really special to see Mr. Faulkner's work celebrated, to be introduced to it at such an early age, and to see it showcased here in several different mediums. For this many people to come together over a string of words is kind of an amazing thing. So, cheers to you, Bill.
This is really not about his writing. This is about the man. And when we did the sports exhibit, we were almost through with it. And if you haven't seen it, go look at it, because you might be in it. But I thought, who have we left out? Well, I thought, did William Faulkner? I knew he was a hunter, and I knew he was a sailor, but did he ever play ball? Well, he did. He was a quarterback on his high school football team. He was also the pitcher on his baseball team. But one of his claims to fame as a quarterback was on the defensive side of things. One of his teammates, Possum McDaniel, didn't you just see old Possum? Well, he intercepted a pass and proceeded to run toward his own goal line. William Faulkner tackled him, and in the process got a broken nose, but got the praise of the day for winning the game, which kind of tells you a little bit about him as a person. And another little tidbit about him that I appreciated is he carried bird seed around to feed the birds in his pocket. That's just a likable characteristic. But really a neat thing was that he had planned a picnic for his stepson, Malcolm Franklin, and it came a big rain, and not to be deterred from that mission, he decided they were still going to go on that picnic. They'd probably drive on out of the rain, and they did. And they got to the big woods, and decided they wanted to build a fire, but unfortunately, everything was wet. And Malcolm recalls that he turns over a stump and finds the nest of a flying squirrel and has enough tinder to start the fire. And that picnic was a success. So I like those little stories about William Faulkner, the man, and the writer, and to Faulkner, whose ink is still flowing through time. Cheers.
Cheers.